This week's Flatsclass YouTube fishing tip is going to be about soft plastics. Stay tuned. When it comes to fishing shallow flats, there's tons of choices when it comes to soft plastics. Which one do you choose? That's a question that I get often. When it really comes down to it, there's 3 soft plastic profiles that you really have to have and utilize to catch fish. And that's it. I like to call it the triple threat. One is the paddle tail. Now let me show you a little bit about what makes a great paddle tail. Now the first bait that I want to show you in the triple threat is the paddle tail. This is the Z-Man Diesel Minnow. What's nice about the Diesel Minnow, other than the fact that it's very resilient to smaller fish that may want to tear it up, is the fact that you can cover an awful lot of water with this bait. If you rig it on a jig head, which is the most common way, it's going to have a weight forward advantage so that when you're casting into the wind or you're trying to throw under a hard wind, you're going to be able to accomplish that. The number one reason I like this bait is that you can make a super long cast and that you can reel it back at a very steady, static pace. So it's going to allow you to cover water quickly. That's why paddle tails catch so many fish. Now let me share with you the number 2 profile that you're going to have to know in the triple threat. Now the number 2 plastic in the triple threat profile would have to be the jerk shad. This particular jerk shad I've got Texas rigged. It's on a rigging hook. This rigging hook is the Mustad grip pin hook. You can see that it's belly weighted. There's a small node here that keeps the bait on so it can't be pulled off. What's nice about jerk shads is when you compare them to the paddle tail is more of a natural static retrieve. This gives you the opportunity to make a very erratic wounded retrieve. It also gives you the ability to skip this plastic up underneath the mangroves. So it's fantastic for skipping, it's fantastic for throwing across potholes and twitching and letting it die into the hole itself as a wounded bait. And if you move it very quickly and put it on a rigging hook that does not have a belly weight, you can actually use it as a sub-walking bait topwater for soft plastics. So again, it can be a search bait, it can be a sight fishing bait, and it could be a skipping bait for mangroves. Now there's one more profile that you need to know to complete the triple threat. Now the last soft plastic that you have to have in your tackle bag, or your arsenal if you will, for the flats is a shrimp imitator. There is not a better shrimp imitator than the Z-Man Easy Shrimp. This is the greasy prawn version. You'll notice that it is segmented right here in the middle. It gives it a ton of action. There's also an integrated weight system that you can break the weight off and control the descent of this bait if you're fishing a little deeper or a little shallower. What I like about shrimp imitators is you can work them very slowly. So unlike the erratic wounded look of the jerk shad, the steady static pace of the paddle tail, the shrimp becomes a very good sight fishing bait. And in every body of water that you're ever going to fish, there's always going to be a profile that looks like a minnow, like the Minnow's bait, the Diesel Minnow. There's going to be a shrimp that looks like the Easy Shrimp. And then you've got the final one, the jerk shad, that could be a wounded bait fish, or it could, if you pick a darker color, it could even look like some type of bottom sea creature that you're dragging through the turtle grass. But if you have all 3 profiles, that's all you need to be successful fishing shallow flats in Florida. I hope this tip helps you catch more fish. Captain C.A. Richardson signing off from Flatsclass YouTube.